Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our webinar on Bloom Taxonomy by Skillveda. We are excited to have you join us today. Skillveda is empowering individuals through skill development, training, and creating opportunities for personal and professional growth. A special welcome to our trainer, Ms. Devjani Das, who is a seasoned early childhood trainer and consultant with more than 30 years of experience in education field. Welcome, Ms. Devjani.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Skillveda. And it's my pleasure and honor to be a part of this webinar. And I can see a lot of people today. So it's going to be definitely going to be a very interactive and a very fruitful webinar. Thank you so much. So I'll start now, or I'll just wait for another 1 or 2 minutes.
Yes, we can start now.
We can start now. Okay. So, So today we are going to talk about something very interesting. Very interesting. And it is really going to, I think, help us in, you know what, to get the idea about how to go about in the classroom with the students in a fruitful manner, and how we can encourage them to have more critical thinking skills, because the era where we are standing right now is not only it's not the number based, it is also something which is to be depending on skill based learning. That is what actually NEP is suggesting. So a lot of good evenings. Yes, good evening and welcome. So to begin with, Bloom taxonomy basically was first designed in 1956 by Benjamin Bloom and his team of researchers. They wanted to create some certain educational goals, why we are teaching it and what we want to achieve. So that was their basically their motto or their purpose. So they created a very effective learning outcomes, which includes how to even assess the children. It also focused on a higher ordering thinking skill. Recently, I saw one article. I don't know whether you all saw that. There was one girl from Hansraj College in Delhi. I don't know the facts about it, but it came out in one of the magazine or newspaper. Like, she never stood second in her life, and she acquired a lot of medals and certificates in academics. But when she wanted to apply for internship, she was denied of that. So can you tell me why it was denied? It's going to be a very interactive session, because I believe that if more interaction, there will be more learning.
Ma'am, she was not having skills, internship skills, what it was required to be a part of that.
Yes. So
And
what was the yes,
through her
ma'am, yes, ma'am.
academic, she was totally on rote learning.
So what changes like NEP now? Why NEP is more, focusing on the skills, skill-based learning. To eradicate the rote learning part, right? And to enhance the critical thinking part along with various skills. So there she lacked and she was refused of internship. Now, Bloom taxonomy, which was developed by Benjamin Bloom in 1956, it was again revised in 2001 by Anderson and Carthwall. Why? Because during 1957, the requirement and the expectation was different according to the scenario of that time. But yes, Tania ma'am, anything you want to say?
No, it was just
Okay. So why they revised it? Because in 2001, they felt that there needs to be a change. A change was required according to the expectation and the scenario of this particular time. So if you can mute your thing, because I get distracted. Little bit. When required, you can, of course,
unmute
open your
yourself
mic.
for that time. Yeah.
Yes, please, if you can mute, because otherwise I get distracted.
God, you continue. This will keep on happening. You continue, please.
So, this is basically the original taxonomy. And Bloom's taxonomy is based on the hierarchical format. So initially it was knowledge, comprehension, application, analyze, synthesis, and evaluation. It looked in a pyramid. I'll show you the pyramid. So knowledge was the foundation. Knowledge was the foundation of the pyramid. If you can imagine a pyramid, or I can show you in a whiteboard. I think we have a whiteboard over here also. You have a whiteboard, right? Okay, I'll show you. So knowledge was the base or the foundation of the pyramid, which actually recalls the facts and basic of the concept. So you have to first know what, suppose you will be doing with water cycle. So when you are doing with the water cycle, how will you recall the facts and the basic concept? You have to first collect it from the student, that how much do they have their previous knowledge and how much clear the facts for them. Then the upper part is the comprehension. Comprehension is the understanding the information. So whatever information you are being given, whether the understanding is clear with them or not. Then application. Application is whatever has been done, whether that information, they are taking it and applying it in a new situations with the information that has been gathered. And then analysis, breakdown of the informations. So once they are applying it, now they have to make a note of it, like how they have been using the different informations into parts. Now, after doing this, they synthesize, or they now what they do, they compile all the informations from their experience, from the knowledge they gathered previously, the knowledge they had earlier before they're entering into the system. So now compiling the whole information and making it into a totally a newer one. Absolutely a new ideas. And now the evaluation is justify a decision or course of action, which is the assessment part. Which was the assessment part. So this was initially the Bloom's taxonomy. This is formed by Benjamin Bloom in 1956. Now, with the time, there was a requirement of a change. And with the change, this was the hierarchical formation. So from the create, evaluate, analyze, apply, understand, remember. Okay, so now they have to recall the facts or the concepts, explain the ideas or the concepts, that is the understanding, then apply. They use information in the new situation, analyze, connect different ideas, evaluate, justify a decision. Now, this knowledge was replaced by basically remember. Okay, this knowledge was removed by remember. And they added one more point, that was create. Create is the project work, to create a original work. So once this was done, they have to create a project to close the subject, whatever the subject is. All these are basically are divided into 3 domains. Can you tell me what were the 3 domains? That is, first is the cognitive domain. Here, in cognitive domain, what were the things that were taking place? It was helping them to enhance their thinking part, enhance their skill, enhance the ability of gathering more ideas, new ideas. So that was the cognitive domain. Then came the affective domain. Here, actually, basically where we are involving the students. The students needs to actively participate and do a project work or a group study or an evaluation method, assessment method. So that was the affective domain. And the last or the third domain was the psychomotor domain, where we have to find that whether the concept which we were being doing has gone into their mind and they can use it in their real life, in their practical life. So these were the 3 domains: the cognitive domain, the affective domain, and the psychomotor skill domain. So these 3 domains were there. So this is basically which was been defined in 2001 by Anderson and Carthol. See, recall the facts, explain ideas, use information in new situations, draw connections among ideas, justify a decision or opinion. Like why I'm doing so, or why I need to do this, why this was happening, or opinion. Oh, okay, let's do it in this way. We can try it in another way. and produce the original work. That is the model or a project. Now comes why Bloom's taxonomy is so important. So why you are here today? Can anyone say that why you wanted to know Bloom taxonomy?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So, Bloom's taxonomy is important because it leads the way to a more holistic and complete and meaningful learning. That is why it is very, very important for us to integrate that into our daily classroom teaching.
Yes, Pushpa ma'am. You're correct, Shutapa ma'am. Basically, it will help to develop various skills, and whatever the learning is happening in the classroom, they can get into the concept absolutely in the depth of it, and they can apply those concepts in their real life. Then there will be an effective learning. So what is basically what is the purpose of our teaching? Why we are teaching this particular topic? We should have certain goal that we need to achieve this. So that is where Bloom taxonomy actually explains. Can anyone volunteer and say that, like Sutapa ma'am said, that we need to have an effective learning in the classrooms? So who else can tell me that why you are here for Bloom taxonomy? Can we all please, if you can unmute and say. Roadmap to a better teaching, of course. Yes, Shutapa ma'am.
Ma'am, actually, the problem is that many a times it is seen that whatever children learn in their classroom, they are unable to connect that knowledge to their real life, right? So the
Yes, yes,
application part is basically missing. So that is why if we follow the taxonomy, it helps us to stage that learning so that we are able to guide them from the remember stage to a stage where they can apply their knowledge and create something new and visualize things and connect it to their real life, to the
yes.
surroundings.
Yes, basically, what happens, they really don't know that why, when you ask, I have seen that. I don't know whether you people have faced it. I think many of you must, as an educator, have faced it, that a child wants to become an engineer. But if you ask them why you want to become an engineer, if you ask this question, uh, they don't, they don't know actually what to answer. Why they want to study science, why they want to become an engineer. There are very few handful of students, they have a focus, they know what to do, what is their goal to achieve. But there are maximum, a majority, they don't know why they are studying it. And when I'm studying it, they cannot relate that into with their real life, and they cannot apply them into that, and they don't have use their creative skills. So here, basically, Bloom taxonomy is not only letting them think beyond what they should or they were doing it, from the basic to the advanced thinking level. Like, if you want to, I'll show you how you are going, how you can do it when we will be doing the lesson plan. So from basic thinking, we will encourage them to go for the advanced thinking. Where advanced thinking is, maybe we were talking about water cycle. So this water cycle, how they can relate in the outside world. Maybe it's in grade 4, this topic comes. So they will learn water cycle. Now, how to relate that in the outside world and what else they can do with it. What are the skills they are learning when they are knowing the concept of water cycles? So this helps them to think more advanced, apply them into their real life. And along with that, they have their own creativity, they have their problem solving. Because when we are following this Bloom taxonomy, we have this collaborations, we have this collaborative learning, we have this project work. In collaborative learning, they are learning to work together. So there you can have a good teamwork. You're teaching them to do a teamwork where they know how to work in team. You can find the leadership quality among them. When they are using the project work, in the project work, you can see their creativity. You're enhancing their creative skills. Their thought process is getting more enhanced. And along with this, when you are doing an assessment, whether it's a summative or a regular assessment, you can see that how they are implementing that into their work. Or you can give them a real life problem solving situation where they can solve that through the experience they have gathered while learning that. So in 21st century, we really need skills, not the marks. Marks are important, but along with that, they should be focusing more on these skills, problem solving, creative, and cognitive skills, where Bloom's taxonomy is really, really going to be helpful, and it's going to make it more enhanced. So anything that you want to share in this context? Can we make it a little bit more interactive? Because I cannot see any one of you, so I'm very apprehensive. Like only Shutopa ma'am is there to answer. So can anyone? I know a lot of you are writing down, but it becomes little difficult for me when I'm doing the training and seeing the writing. If you can all please unmute yourself and can tell me all this so that we can have a better discussion. So, ma'am, just want to know, Anil Kulkarni sir, can you just tell me that you have written roadmap to a better teaching? How can you involve Bloom's taxonomy into the roadmap of better teaching? So anyone can tell me that Anil sir has written roadmap to a better teaching. Who can tell me?
The examples that you'd be giving us now, I think once we inculcate these into the way of the mode of teaching, I think that should yield better results. That is what I was trying to.
Once more, Anil sir, I just couldn't get it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Actually,
just once.
what I meant was by roadmap was that Bloom's taxonomy does some of the aspects, some of the points that are being risen here. These are more current to the current scenario, and it would help children grasp things at a faster pace. That is what I tried to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. You
Yeah.
are right. Yeah, they will not only grasp the concept, but they will be getting the depth, in-depth concept. Like water cycle, they will be, it's not only that they will just know water cycle, but they will know water cycle in details. Okay, and they can apply that in their they can relate that in with their day-to-day life. So in this process, can you tell me that what is we are basically trying to do? Shitobha ma'am, I'm sorry, you raised your hand. You can tell me now.
Okay, yes. So basically, ma'am, what happens is when we, include this, incorporate and use Bloom's in our daily classroom, what happens is we are, first of all, we are addressing all types of learners in the classroom because everybody has a different level of thinking. Okay, so some children maybe they will reach they are at a lower level, some are at a higher level. So strike a balance in the classroom. We need to address the learning capabilities and the thinking capabilities of every learner. Right. So when Anil sir said that it helps us to build, build a roadmap. So
Roadmap.
when we are structuring our lessons, when we are preparing a session plan, so Bloom helps us to keep that in mind that we need to address every level of thinking. So we cannot jump from remember level to the create level, right?
No.
So we have to stage it in a
Follow.
way. Yes. So we have to stage it in a way so that we go one step at a time and we don't jump steps so that there is no gap in understanding and there is no gap in comprehension so that, when we do it in this manner, we will be able to lead them to a higher level at every next step. So this is
Correct.
what I, understood when Anil sir said that we need to
Yeah,
prepare a
Correct.
roadmap.
exactly.
Right,
You
right,
put it
right,
very,
right.
um,
In a much more comprehensive manner.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no. Shitapa ma'am, where are you from?
I'm from Haridwar and
Okay.
I have been headmistress for 15 years. So I've been
For 50.
15.
15. Okay, okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that's why, you know, yeah,
No, no, good to know you.
thank you.
So yes, you've got a very clear idea, but how many of you are following the lesson plan when you are making it, keeping blooms in mind?
I think I need to give others a chance too, but since no hands are
Yeah,
raised,
yeah. I also I'm really looking forward for more people to come up, and because if it is there is no interaction, then there is no no energy is there. Very less energy you get. So can we make it little bit more uh make it more like I'm it's good that Chutapa ma'am is coming up and talking. So anyways, useful in assessment and differentiated instruction. What does this mean? Useful in assessments and differentiated instruction. I just want someone else to come up and, tell me this. Because this is very important and a very important point that Bloom's taxonomy is having.
Can I say, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Ma'am, differentiated means, as we know that we have children with multiple intelligence in the class. So, you cannot give the same instruction to everyone. At times, you need to, keep in mind the children with special needs also, because you cannot, have the same approach for every child in the class. So that is what basically it means. as far as I understand.
Yes, absolutely correct, ma'am. Because in a classroom of 30 to 40, all will be not the same kind of learners. There will be kinesthetic learners, there will be an observers, there will be uh, listeners, there will be a special needs children, slow learners, not only with the special need, but there are slow and the fast learners are also there. So there will be a multiple learners with multiple intelligence. So one single instruction will not be enough for making them understand the concept. So then what will be the method that can help you? Because per child, you cannot go and give instructions, right? So what will be helping you to give all these instructions in one go?
Ma'am, may I?
Yes.
Good evening, ma'am. This is Chitra Parashar here. Ma'am, the
Welcome, ma'am.
question right now, thank you, ma'am. The question you posed right now, ma'am, why we use Bloom's taxonomy is to cater, as everybody else is speaking, to cater to the varied need, the diversity of the class. And as a teacher, as an educator, we have to start from simple and then go to the complex of any content, any topic, any grade we wish to teach. It has to go from basics to the complex. So that is where Bloom's taxonomy help us to, deliver that content to our students.
Yes, that I got it. Absolutely, you're right, Chitra ma'am. But I just wanted to understand one thing, that how can you, in a classroom of 30 to 40, we have multiple intelligent students, right? Now, using Bloom taxonomy, how will you give the instructions to this 30 to 40 with the multiple intelligence at one go? Because it is not possible for a teacher to give instruction according to their requirement per child, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So how will you, uh, do that? The instructions or whatever. Like I understood that from basic to advanced, right?
From
That
simple to
is
complex.
one grade. Simple to complex, right? That is one method. Like you can go. So from simple to method, you can categorize the kids with the multiple intelligence, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You can put them into that. That's what you wanted to mean, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then how this Bloom's taxonomy is going to help you in assessments?
Ma'am, in assessment, like based on the learning levels, we can, assess a child, like the one who has comprehended, we can pose questions, or we can like, in one word answers, or match the following. Like there are different,
Even for the
differentiators.
project, even for the projects?
Yes, ma'am. If we are practical assessment can also be there. Hands-on. Practically, the child can like do that activity, and then we can understand whether the concept they have understood or not. So the varied ways based on the group we are teaching, we can use. So from simple questionnaires in the class or quizzes to one-word answers to like written assessment as we used to have, and then class based activities, practical assessments. So there are different varied levels in which we can understand the comprehension and
Each
the.
child
Yes, ma'am.
you can assess. So there are there are each level of assessing the children. You can see their creativity skill, you can see their uh, thinking cognitive skills, you can see their other skills like hands-on activities, how problem solving skills. So you can give them a situation where they can solve the problem according to what they've learned. So that is a classroom situation. So you can assess them in these various ways, right? Any more ideas?
Yes, ma'am. Can I say?
Yeah. Yes,
Yeah, like for example, Devjani ma'am, we can say explain water cycle. And then in the same thing, we can say that you can explain it with the help of a diagram, or you can write a paragraph on it, or through a flow chart. So the children who are of different intelligence levels, they'll be able to explain the water cycle in their own way. Like for example, ma'am, when I used to teach class 7 earlier, so rock cycle. So sometimes children find it difficult to explain rock cycle, to write about it. So, I used to tell them, even if you're drawing the diagram correctly, with the arrows that which rock gets converted into what and then what happens after that. So even if the arrows used to be correct, I used to give them full marks for that.
marks.
See, because a child is able to explain at least with the help of a diagram that
That
is
means the
there.
understanding is there. That means the
Yes, ma'am.
understanding is there.
Yes, understanding is there, and every child, ma'am, has their own way to express themselves. So the
Correct,
freedom
correct,
has to be given by the teacher. This is what the CBSE is now talking about, to move away from
correct.
from rote to competency. And every child will have a different competency level. Someone will be good
Absolutely.
in writing. Somebody he can even frame us, ma'am, like a rap is very popular. A child can even make a rap song explaining how it can be done, or 2 3
Yes,
children can come ahead and do a role play, and you can give,
absolutely.
and you can give them that role that you are a sedimentary rock. What will happen to you? You are an igneous rock. You are a metamorphic rock. Because I've exactly have done it in my class, and we have recorded and we have shared with the parents
No,
also.
no, that's
So
a
now,
fantastic idea. That's a fantastic idea.
because I assigned them the role, manager, you are a volcano. Now what will happen? How will what
Okay.
are going to be your dialogues? So they have written their own dialogues. And being a sedimentary rock, how will I explain myself? Metamorphic, igneous. So this is, I don't think they'll ever forget this concept of rock cycle ever in their
No,
life.
they will never. They will never.
Yes, ma'am.
So this is how you have basically eradicated the rote learning from the class, and you have gone into hands-on experience, problem solving experience, and even you have
Critical thinking.
encouraged
Critical
critical
thinking.
thinking along with creativity.
Yes, ma'am. So
So
this is
now,
what we need to do about, especially I don't know about other subjects, but I'm talking about social science. This concept has to go, this stereotype has to go. It is difficult, it is boring. It's all in our hand how we present a concept to the children. That is all on a teacher. This is
so
what I
that is
believe.
what you have to know, to come out of your comfort zone of rote learning, and you have to use your thinking skill and creative skills to encourage and enhance Bloom's taxonomy more into the school and the classroom scenario. So it is basically in the hands of the teacher. Absolutely right.
Thank you, ma'am.
Very nice. So this is one example of the Bloom taxonomy. That is the list of all the planets. Like when you are doing with the solar system, you must be knowing this. Like, remember, I just want to let you know that how you can categorize them. To remember, list all the planets. So now you are gathering their previous knowledge, right? How much do they already know? So see, now we are no more we are a teachers, correct? Now we are more into facilitators. So what we are our work is now to facilitate with further informations on the previous knowledge that they already have. Right. So let them list all the planets. Then in understanding, you can talk about Pluto, that why Pluto is no more a planet. Right. So that is again one understanding. Then applying how they can build a model of here, like Madhu ma'am said, you can build a model. Say now you can do it in a different way. You can build a model of planetary orbits. You can have a role play in this. You can involve the classroom. You can divide the classroom in 2, 3 groups and ask them to make 3 models in the class. You can even ask them to enact as different planets. Correct. So in application, I would request some of you to come up and say that this is one thing that I have written, that build a model of planetary orbits. What else you can do with this? What else you can do with this? Suppose you are doing this in your classroom. See, Bloom taxonomy is, there's nothing that I'm going to teach you. You people have more than 10 years of experience. That's a minimum of 15 years. So you people are also experienced. So it is just giving you the brushing up of ideas and, little bit more ideas how you can do it. So if you can please come up with your ideas that how you can apply this, build a model of planetary orbits. What else you can do with it?
Neelam ji is writing role play.
Yes, ma'am, you are writing a lot of things and very good. Please, ma'am, if you can, unmute and if you can say, like role play, I said, you can do that role play. How will you do that? Can you just, if you can explain it? Who else can be a,
Can I, ma'am?
yes?
Ma'am, when it comes to role play, because this concept is in class 6, so what I used to
Yes.
do in order to explain them the concept of starting with the rotation and revolution and then going to the, solar system with the inner planets and outer planets, asteroid belt. So what I used to do, I used to, stand at one place and then, start moving around on the same place, turning. So that is what I used to tell them, that this is, rotation. And then I used to make 2 or 3 of them, stand in between here and there. And then I used to, move around.
Move around
So
them.
that, yes, so that used to be revolution. And then I used to divide the class. I used to, and then I used to उनको मैं बोलती थी कि दो अलग-अलग groups. One used to be the asteroid belt, and the ones which were inside inner planets, which were on the outside, were the outer planets. So
Okay.
this is the way I used to use, to explain the concept of
Yeah,
inner and outer planets.
fantastic. So it is, see, instead of having a model, you can always use a role play. Okay, Neelam ma'am.
You yourself can be a model for that.
Yes, you can yourself can be a live model. You can be a live model for them. Is anyone else who can give me some more, ideas? So even I can apply it somewhere else.
Ma'am, may I?
Yes, sure, ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am. This is Anjali
Good
Dogra
evening.
from Dharamshala.
A lovely
Uh,
place.
yes, ma'am. It's a lovely place, especially these days.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful place.
And fantastic weather you are having, and what a
Yes,
horrible
raining.
weather we are having here.
Raining, ma'am. It is raining here just now.
Oh, lovely.
So actually, ma'am, we all believe that each student is different and everybody doesn't have all the qualities. Some are very good in writing part, but they are unable to express themselves. Some are very good in drawing. So I think brochure can also be a concept, especially if I talk about English. If we divide the class into groups, so the, whatever quality they have according to their potential, they can be given that task. Like suppose one can be given the task of planning the entire situation. The one who's good in writing, he can be given the work of writing. The one who's good in drawing, he can draw the concept. So in this way, the one who's unable to express himself, like the one who never comes in limelight, he
The
or she
shy
will also
one.
get some confidence. Yes, it can boost the confidence also, because when we work in a team group, so peer group also works like a vitamin. I personally feel this.
That's the collaboration.
Yes, ma'am.
That's the collaboration. That's the collaborative learning, and that is how you can, the learning becomes very interesting and interactive. And I think again, here also you can be more innovative and creative.
Yes, ma'am.
You can help, and you can also encourage. You are correct, Anjali ma'am. In one way, you can encourage the shy ones in the class
Yes,
to
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
come up
And
and express.
yeah, sooner or later they also see others speaking, so they also try and maybe successful also in speaking or expressing
Correct.
themselves.
Correct. And what you can do, that means you are involving each and every child in the classroom in the learning process.
Learning, yes, process.
Right.
May I, ma'am?
So yes, sure.
I was just trying to unmute myself. Now
Okay,
I was
okay.
successful. Yeah, good
Thank
afternoon,
you.
ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, ma'am. Once we I take grade 2, and in grade 2,
Okay.
I divided the class into 2 groups, and the class is of 23 kids. So I divided the
Okay.
class into 2 groups. A day prior, I asked them to do some research on the solar system, and I asked them to do the role play the next day. And I gave them the freedom to just take just decide among themselves only that which planet they want to be. Okay, and one
Okay.
of them was the leader. So the first group performed, and the leader, he took the initiative. He divided the whole class, and then they came and they just spoke one line about the planet which they were. And out of them, one child, he sat and he just made the notes. And as you said, the shy ones, those who do not want to speak, so those children, they drew something. Okay, and then at the end, the leader and the child who was making the note, he just summed up that what they did in the class, what role play did they do. Okay, and in this way they did the research by themselves. They came up with very nice facts.
Innovative ideas.
Yes. So both the groups, they performed, and it was not like the competition kind of, but yes, it was like the participation of the whole class. So it was a very
Correct.
nice activity, and they enjoyed it thoroughly.
So see, in this whole process, you are encouraging them to enhance their creativity skills as well as their thinking skill or the cognitive skill part. You are also helping them to enhancing their creativity part, which is very important. Very important. You are boosting their confidence. So through collaborative learning, this is a kind of a collaborative learning, right? So when you are giving a task to a group, so you can see that how well they are working in team, and the leadership quality of each child is going to come up. So accordingly, you can do the assessment also. So it is not only always from the writing, like which was earlier, but NEP is now shifting from that to this. That is the reason why there's so much of skill. We talk about we are talking about skill so much nowadays. Even you will have this life skills training nowadays, which you are even imparting it to your children in school, right? So that means remembering you have done already, understanding, then applying also you did. Now analyze. So with the solar system, it is compare Earth and Mars. So how will you do this? How will you do this analyze part? Analyze and evaluate. This two, how will you do it? Why so much sannata, bhai?
Yes, the kids can do with the help of the Venn diagram.
Yes, they can do it with the Venn diagram, but those who are not very good at it, then how? Maybe there are slow learners or shy learners. Then how will you involve them?
We can give some
Does
worksheets, ma'am.
yes, what kind of what will be the worksheets like? How, what kind of worksheets that you want to give in Analyze?
Mainly objective-based questions we can give with options.
So just let me know with some examples. Yes, Shutapa ma'am.
Ma'am, what we can do is like somebody just said that we can, create some kind of a game. What we can do is we can divide the children into groups, and then we can ask them to choose certain planets, all right? And then they can write the most unique features of those planets, right? So what we can do is that we can give them some preparation time, and then there will be a presentation. One student from each group will come. They'll talk about their planets, their own planets. And then the audience, what they will do is they will analyze what differences did they spot, right? So for example, somebody speaks about Earth, somebody speaks about Mars, right? So what are the differentiating information, from the information they will sort what differences could they identify? What kind of a
But
planet Earth is?
how will you involve the whole class in this?
Everybody will be involved, ma'am, because they are working in groups. Everybody is
Okay,
contributing. That the teacher
because
and the
you will get some shy students also in the class who will tend to be in the at the back.
no, ma'am, but they will
Huh.
be contributing maybe in the writing part or when they're having the group discussion, because we have to form the groups in a way that there's a mix of every kind of child in that group, right?
That
And we
means it's
will
a teacher's duty to encourage and constant motivate them to do this,
because there
right?
will be some ground rules. Whenever we give an activity, we set some ground rules, right? So
Mm-hmm.
we will tell them beforehand that these are the ground rules that everybody needs to participate, and
Hmm.
I am watching. And if the group does not involve everyone, then that group gets disqualified. We have to set certain ground rules, and you need to follow these rules to ensure that everybody is participating,
Or
right?
else
So maybe
you can ask the student of that. Suppose you have formed a group of 10 student each, maybe there are
right.
3. Okay, so in every group you can find one leader whom you can put that responsibility that you have to see that each and every friend of yours should participate.
Yeah, so we don't make such larger group. We make around 5, 6 children in each
No,
group.
it's just for an
Right?
example I'm saying. Yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah,
that we need to ensure that the group size is not too large, and so that because you have time restraints also. So within
yes.
say 2, 3 minutes, you have to do the preparation. So in two, three
Hmm.
minutes, maybe you can you can encourage the child who is a quiet child to draw the planet, maybe.
Hmm.
Right. So
Hmm.
you can give such ideas to the children that maybe somebody can draw, like somebody had said, that somebody can draw, somebody can write, somebody can present. So this way,
So
this will be.
there's
Hmm.
this way you can do it, but before doing it you have to prepare them beforehand, at least a day before or 2 days before. You
Yeah,
have to,
of
because
course.
see, anyways, every class has got a time constraint. It's 45 minutes class, so
See,
naturally
yeah.
within that you have to do it.
So what
So
you can do is to make it more challenging. You can because they have all the information in the book,
yes,
right? Because this is the later stage, right? So we have already crossed the remember stage. We have already crossed the understand stage. We have
yes,
also crossed the apply
done the
stage.
application, huh.
Yeah, so they have collected quite a bit of knowledge about the solar system, right?
Hmm.
So they can consult their books also, quickly write 2 or 3 points, which are very prominent. So this
Hmm.
way they will also be able to sort information, you know. So we are also teaching them information literacy, like
Hmm.
how to sort information, what is more important. So we are teaching them,
Priority wise. Hmm.
yes. So here, this we can do so that, you know, they are doing everything themselves, so that the knowledge that they are gaining and they are sharing also. So it is complete and they are able to comprehend the whole concept of the solar system.
Right. That absolutely, you're right. Correct. And what about the evaluation part? Evaluate? Like which planet could support life? How will you do this in the class?
Because, yeah, because they are sharing information. So if there is no air, will you be able to survive? Right.
So
If
that
there
means the
are,
extension. That means
yeah,
now
yes,
they are extension of their knowledge.
correct, yes. So this is happening simultaneously.
Okay. So then comes the create part. Here too they can design their own planet, or you can also have a group model making class, or because this is a project. Creating is the project work. So, ma'am, in project work, mostly don't you feel that when a school is giving a project to individual children, most of them comes up with a beautiful project, no doubt about it, but they don't do it. It's mostly the parents, or they pay somebody and they do it. Yes, ma'am. Yes, Shutapa, ma'am.
Yes,
Go
yes,
ahead.
I agree, completely agree. So in this again can be done in a, group activity, because group activity is the best way of doing things. One, that every child gets to participate, and we are able to also keep a track of time. And because it is happening right in front of us, we are able to assess the children also, that whether the understanding, the comprehension is complete or not, or we need to give it more explanation, or we need to give a little more scaffolding to the ones who are a little behind. So for this, when, like you had taken an example, design your own planet. So this is a beautiful project. So they can, you know, they can be as creative as they can. So maybe they now have another new planet. They have discovered a new planet. You can give them a situation that you've discovered a new planet. So what uh, is it like? What would it be like? So you can design that planet. So here, because it is happening right in front of you, you can also see what thought process is going behind it. Right. So and they will come up with beautiful things, and then they present their idea. Like the whole group stands in front and presents it. It's not that only one person can come. The whole group can come. 5, 6 children can come and stand. Maybe, and you know, they can contribute. If the person who is not speaking at all, maybe they have the drawing in front of them. Maybe the person can hold it. The student can hold it. So he is participating just by holding the planet. and and we've seen that they take a lot of pride in that, you know, the way they hold the things and all,
Correct, correct, correct.
and because they feel that they are a part of the group, and they are presenting
They have it's their creation. It's
their
their
creation, and
creation.
yes, and they have the sense of achievement also. So I think this is a wonderful, this your example is in itself very nice. So it's a beautiful project.
Yeah, because what I have seen, or I have been seeing it now, because most of the projects which are given home, they are actually not doing it. It's the parents who are doing it, or they are paying it someone else, because now you get a lot of ready-made
Yes.
items in the market. There are
Mm,
people who helps in making projects, but
correct.
then again the purpose of giving them is not actually fulfilling.
Yes.
The purpose is not getting fulfilled. So if we can give something, because one thing you have to, if we all can make the student understand that we are not looking into the perfection.
Mm,
because most of them, they go for the perfection, right? And which
Yeah,
actually
Mama.
is, which is actually,
Yeah, I
helping,
yes.
yes.
So I used to walk into the classes and during my sessions. So once I played a game with them. I took a ball and I told
Mhm.
them that okay, this is Mother Earth, right? So I'm going to throw the ball at you. You need to make sure that doesn't fall because if it falls, then you're hurting Mother Earth. Right.
Okay.
So, and then they had to, whosoever the ball passed to, they had to speak one point about any planet which they felt was very attractive, which that information particularly attracted them. So this way, they were very excited also that okay, they had to catch the ball. They were alert and they were side by side. They were thinking also about any planet, So they were trying to recollect the information that they had gathered. So this way, it was a very engaging activity.
Very
So,
engaging. Yes. Fantastic, ma'am. You
yeah,
must be a very popular headmistress in the school.
so I love to spend time with children. That's the only thing.
No, no, it seems that you enjoy, not only enjoy, but you must be a very popular one. Yes, fantastic. This is how you can enhance or encourage them to enhance their creative skills, because giving task at home, um, giving project at home, I don't think it actually serves the purpose of why we are giving it. Anyone else can come up and say that how we can stop this, what else we can think about. Can anyone do that? Like Shrutapa ma'am has told already most of the things. I'll give you some more ideas about, just a second. Now I will share with some. Share. Yes. So now I will be giving you an idea about designing an effective lesson plan using Bloom's taxonomy. So Neelam ma'am, you have already told me that you are practicing it in your school, and I think many others have also told me, like people are doing it in the school. Can you just give me a little bit of idea about how you are doing it?
Ma'am, can you please repeat?
Like you said that you are following Bloom's taxonomy for your lesson plan in your school. So how you are preparing your lesson plans following Bloom taxonomy?
So we are just taking the topic and we divide it into the categories which you just told us how to do it.
Okay. So from the remember until create, you have divided your lesson plan into that way.
Yes, and we just complete it in 1 week. In a
Yeah,
week. In a week.
absolutely. So for that, if the teachers are prepared well in advance, then I think it doesn't take much time.
Yeah. So we keep one activity and we keep the research also, and then we evaluate the kit at the end of the week. On Fridays, we just keep the
Fridays
evaluation
you
part.
can evaluation. So how
Yes.
you do the evaluation?
So we do the
What?
evaluation in the form of like sometimes we just integrate it with the art, like they make the collage or some poster. In some topic, we just collaborated or integrated with the with PE department, PE like physical education, like we
Okay.
did. Yeah, we did the water related activity in which we gave them a sponge and we asked them to just collect. We put the timer for 1 minute and we asked the child. We gave the child the turn and we asked them to just from the start point to the finish point. We kept 2 mugs and then we asked them to put the sponge in the water and then dip it in it and then take it and then just take out the water from the sponge in the other mug. So in this way, at the end of 1 minute, we just ask them to just evaluate that how much water they have used in this way. So that showed them the wastage of it, like how they can just use the water and without doing the wastage, plus the usage of water for different purposes also. Like sponge, they can use it for watering in the plants. Sponge they can use for like in the day-to-day life, it is used for cleaning purpose. So they can, without wasting the water, they can use the water which is in a mug instead of using more and more of water. So in that way, they can save it.
So this can be the topic for the conservation of water. This activity can be
Yes,
done under
yes.
the
We did it
topic
for
of
the conservation
conservation of water.
Yes, yes.
Correct, correct. Neelam, ma'am, which school you are from or which state you are from?
I'm from Gurgaon. I am a facilitator in Sun City School 3070.
Okay, okay. So thank you. So now we all know that what is lesson plan. I don't have to tell you what is lesson plan is, but still, yes, a structured outline of, see, if we all have a proper lesson plan, and if as a teacher we are prepared well in advance, like Neelam ma'am said, a topic can be covered within a week. Do you all agree with me or not? Yes, Shutapa ma'am. So only Shutapa ma'am agrees with me, right? Rest don't. I can see there are 57 participants. So this classroom should be the most noisiest classroom, but it is a most quiet classroom.
Yeah,
Yes,
Aishwarya ji,
Aishwarya
you
ma'am.
want to ask something?
Sure. Sure, ma'am. Aishwarya ma'am, go ahead.
Aishwarya ji, you raised your hand. You want to ask something?
Ma'am, I raised my hand just to agree with you that if we are well planned,
Okay, fine.
yeah,
Okay.
if we are well planned, so yes, we
Hmm.
can complete the entire lesson plan. There can be a possibility that few topics are so long that it might take a little bit more time.
That depends
Yes.
on the topic.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, but yes, if we are well prepared with our plans, so yes, we can complete the topic within a week.
Within a week, it can be covered, and
Yeah.
along with the activities and model planning, everything we can do it, right?
Yes.
The research work and everything, we can finish it within a week, because well planning is something which is one of the most important part of whatever it's Bloom taxonomy or in class management. Well planning is very much required. If I know what I have to do for the next 1 month, then I can plan it out easily. So it helps the teachers to organize the learning experiences. Yes, Shutapa ma'am.
Ma'am, I feel lesson plan is very good. I think session planning is very important because if
What,
you have
which
to
planning?
session plan, I mean, how you plan your sessions, for example, in one period, how much are you going to cover of the lesson? I think that gives you a more holistic and complete view of what all you can do within a week. My target is that I have to finish this lesson within 6 days or 5 days within that week, right? Because that is the only time we get usually. 1 week per chapter, because there are so many other activities also that happen side by side, that sometimes you don't get so much of time to extend your lessons. So within a week, if I have to cover, so if I prepare for every period how much of that lesson I'm going to teach, so that gives me a better and more structured and more clear view
More
of how
effective,
much
more effective.
more effective way, that how much I can cover and whether it is realistic or not. Maybe like somebody said here, that maybe a lesson is very long and I may not be
Yes,
able to cover it in 1 week. So I have to
correct.
take that extra time into mind, that I have a lesson
Buffer
in
time.
this.
We have to take a buffer time always.
Correct. So I have to adjust my time somewhere else in some other lesson to cover up that time of that time, because I'm not going to get any extension for sure. Or maybe I can arrange for some extra periods and all. So this session plan helps me a lot. If I know that I will not be able to cover this in 1 week, so that I'm mentally prepared and I can make the further arrangements. Maybe I can talk to the principal and arrange for some extra tasks.
Some extra class, or you can talk to other teachers also to give some
Yes,
time from their
right,
periods.
right, correct.
Yes, that is very important, because see, if we are not well planned with the activities, with the session planning, and with the target of finishing or achieving the goal, with keeping all these parameters in mind, then we
Right,
will never achieve what we actually want to achieve it.
right.
So basically, that's the last that point that shows that it ensures that alignment between the learning objectives and the student outcomes. Because at the end of it, you have to also see the student outcome. That is your assessment. So from keeping the learning objective in mind, to put it through, and the end product, you have to also see that end product,
Yeah.
right? Because our target is to see the end product.
So
Correct.
here, ma'am, what we can do is, like whenever we are covering one topic, what I used to tell my teachers is that you frame certain questions. For example,
Okay.
I'm teaching 1 page in 1 day. So whatever topics I'm covering, I ask them to prepare certain questions, and of course that those questions will be based on Bloom's taxonomy only. That some remember questions, and just to capture how much of understanding is happening, so that at the end of the lesson, when I get to know कि, oh, they have not understood this part, so I don't have to revisit that again. Right. So
Correct.
when I'm teaching, so it is very important that I ensure that I finish the topic there only. So maybe instead of one period, I might have to take 2 periods. But that
Yes.
is happening then. So end of the lesson, if I'm not, I'm just going in a flow, and I'm not ensuring that the learning, whatever you're talking about outcome, right? So I have that outcome in
Correct.
mind, that when I'm teaching this part of the lesson, this should be the outcome of that.
I have to know that what will be
Yeah,
the outcome. If I'm not
yes.
clear with it, then even I won't have a proper clarity about the objective also.
So I have already planned that in my lesson plan, no? So I have put everything, the outcome and everything. I have that outcome in mind. So for example, you're talking about water cycle. So I know that this is the outcome. This part I'm teaching, evaporation I'm teaching, evaporation and condensation. So I'm teaching these 2 parts. So what should be the outcome? So I quickly frame certain questions which will capture the learning, how much they have learned. So if they're able to answer those questions,
Correct.
it's not a written thing. It's not a written thing. It's just a discussion.
Just a discussion. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just a
informal way of
discussion.
assessment. Yeah,
Yeah, that is also can be done. That is also can be done. So there you can understand that where they are lacking, or what gap is there, which needs to revisit, or
exactly.
if it is, so everything will be covered. Right. So Bloom's taxonomy provides a hierarchy of cognitive skills. So we have seen that how that hierarchy is going from foundation to the up. So that is how we should follow our lesson plan also. We'll keep that in mind. It also helps a very clear, measurable learning objectives. So what does this measurable learning objective is defining? Someone else. Who can? What does this measurable learning objectives is? See, even I cannot measure the learning, student outcome if you don't participate. Can you please, anyone, please? I know it's a Sunday evening, all fun time, but so what is learning objectives? Ma'am, Shutapa, can you describe this, measuring learning
Yeah.
objectives?
Yes, of course. Learning objectives, ma'am, is like
Measurable.
yeah. So it is setting the goal. So I just cannot say that the children will learn this thing. So I have to use a verb, right? Develop an understanding of the solar system, develop an understanding of how the planets orbit the sun, maybe, and the structure of, develop an understanding of the structure of the solar system. So these are all, measurable. Why? Because I'm talking
Yes.
about a particular skill that they will be developing.
Yes, because we have to know what is there to measure. And if we
Yes.
do accordingly to that Bloom's taxonomy, we can do that measurement, or that measurable learning objectives can be achievable.
Yes. So
Right.
there are certain verbs for Bloom's taxonomy, that's there everywhere. So we need to use those words while we are, setting our objectives, because that gives a structure to our objectives. We are just
Yes.
not giving a generic statement. It is a very specific thing that the children are going to learn.
Yes. Correct. Absolutely. Right. It also encourages the development of higher order thinking skills. Who can define this? Aishwarya ma'am, Neelam ma'am. Encourages development of higher order thinking, because when we are doing the role play, or when we are helping them to do a lot of research work, so if they had this little knowledge, through the process they are developing, they're coming here. So naturally this path is helping them to, when we started the topic, they were here, and when we completed it, they are here. That means we help them or encourage them in higher order thinking. This cognitive skills get enhanced with this whole process. Do you agree with it or not? So the lesson plan structured, this goes like this for all of you. The topic, the grade level, learning objectives based on the Bloom's levels. What are the materials that you are using? The instructional steps. Instructional steps are how you are going to do this, the instructions. And then the last is assessment and evaluation. So what are the process that you will do for your assessment and for evaluation. So every topic has their own different way of assessment and evaluation. Like who were telling me for the English, like they can have that brochure writing part. Some ma'am was gave a very nice example.
Madhuji was there.
Madhuji, I think someone gave a very nice example of that.
Yeah, maybe.
Very nice example of that. So that there it can be assessed in such a way that, like Shutapa ma'am said, that when they were maybe you can use that assessment of not throwing, not letting the ball down on the ground for the gravitational, when you are discussing the gravitation of Earth, right, ma'am? You can do that. So evaluations and assessment also needs to be written down, that what actually you want to do with this topic. And always keep some buffer time in your hand, because you never know, there are topics which are a little longer, which might take a little more time. So so you are mentally prepared, like as Sutapa ma'am said. So this is one sample lesson plan. Like water cycle, it's for grade 5. The objectives, then remember, list the stage of water cycle, understand, describe each stage, apply. You have to know how to apply this. Demonstrate the water cycle using a diagram. You can do it in your own way. Okay, even you can take them to the lab and show them when the water is boiling, how it is going up and coming down as a droplet. Okay, so then analyze evaporation and condensation. Also, you can do it through the live demonstration, or you can ask them to go for do a live observation at home, and then they can come up and write those points. And then you can have an important discussions on water cycle. You can have a role play on water cycle. You can have a Venn diagram in water cycle, or you can take them outside the school ground and you can show them that. And then the creation, it can be a 3D model, it can be just a drawing. Okay, so this is the one sample, like how you can go for the then instructions. How will you give the instructions? Flashcards. There's other TLMs. What are the TLMs you're going to use? Then you can have group discussions, mind maps. So do you practice the mind maps in your school? Okay. Then you can have hands-on activities, role play. You can go for Venn diagrams, debates. You can have a lot of activities, Then peer review, justification of opinions, that why you want to do it like that. Okay, then you can have projects and presentations. See, formative and summative assessment at each level. So quizzes, concepts map, real life task, analysis questions, argumentative writing, creative projects. See, each falls and align to the Bloom's taxonomy. You can have a quick quiz session. Then you can have a concept map for the understanding of it. Real life task, that's the implementation. You can take them to the lab. You can ask them to go and do it at home observation, or you can do it in the classroom. Then analyze questions. Let them ask questions, and then you can do the analyze part. Then argumentative writing, that is the evaluation, and the creative project. So that is how we come to the end of it. So now we can just go for a question answer session. for 5 minutes.
Hello.
Anyone? Let it be a very a quick question answer session. Can be little bit quick, fast. Anyone, please. Neelam ma'am, Chutapa ma'am, anybody. Anil sir. Whom I can see basically. There is no questions? Madhu ma'am.
I think they've already asked the questions. What were they?
Okay. Okay. Okay, then thank you so much.
Thank you, Devjani ji, for the nice and interactive webinar. I hope everybody likes the webinar. And for your time and efforts, Ms. Das, thanks
Thank
a
you
lot.
so much. Thank you so much. So see you again. Thank you.
Definitely.